What's going on, guys? VFM here again. I'm here on the BITT, the boys in the tube. I'm sitting down with Peter Kelamis. We've been chatting about a whole bunch of different stuff from the early days in his career on stand-up all the way through film and TV, including some Stargate universe stuff. Now we're going to get into a whole bunch of people's favorites. We're going to get into the anime voice work, the cartoon voice work. Got a whole bunch of fanboys going nuts right now, Peter. It's going crazy. So we're going to, let's start off first. Let me ask you, clear cut, do you watch anime?
I do. Not a lot of it, as much as I used to, but I do catch it whenever I can.
Okay, before we get into any further, let me ask you, what are some of your favorite anime shows? What are your favorite anime movies?
You know what? When I got cast into Dragon Ball, that was probably, I became a huge fan of it. I had to kind of research it a bit when I got the role, because I hadn't seen a whole lot of it up to that point. So that was my biggest one. And this is kind of off topic, but there's a restaurant in Vancouver called the Eatery,
really?
And it's a really cool, funky sushi joint, and they got like dolls hanging off the wall and weird pictures, cool. Blackened out paper mache things, and all the guy does is play anime 24 hours a day.
Wow.
On video screens while you're eating sushi.
That's awesome.
A lot of times you don't even know what you're watching, but you're like, that's cool.
You need to tell everybody where this place is now, because we just had a whole bunch of people go nuts probably right now.
No, it's a really cool place. It's on West Broadway in Vancouver. It's called the Eatery.
Awesome. So speaking of Dragon Ball Z, because that's everybody and their mother has seen Dragon Ball Z. Everybody knows exactly who's you voice. In case you've been living underneath a rock for the past couple decades. This man is the voice of Goku, or is one of the voices of Goku, I should actually say. Okay, he voiced, Tree of Might, World's Strongest, a whole bunch of different movies from the actual Dragon Ball Z lore, as well as a bunch of episodes. So let me start off by asking, what was it like exactly, becoming such a character that blew up into something, crazy, iconic, for some anime fans? What was it like actually making the voice of Goku? And, because as you mentioned, you had to do some research before. Did you actually watch the original Dragon Ball Z dub from Japan?
I didn't watch the original Dragon Ball Z from Japan when I was auditioning for the role. It was actually Ian Corlett was voicing Goku at the time, who's also a buddy of mine. And me and Ian have a similar cadence, just an everyday speech, and we often audition against each other, and we've often taken over roles from each other in different aspects, whether it be a voiceover commercial or anime, like in this case. Mm-hmm. So I got the audition that we had Ian's voice as a ref. So we had to play off that a bit, and they didn't necessarily want to go exactly like Ian. They want to get as close as they could, but they had to read, and the next thing you know, I had it, and I actually didn't know how big it was until I started doing it. And of course, anime fans are extremely passionate, and when that changeover occurred, as it does in any role, whether it's a big iconic film role or whatever.
Yeah.
There's people that are happy about it, and there's a lot of people that are not happy about it. And there was a huge backlash against me by a lot of people that I was kind of shocked by, but somewhat entertained by, but shocked by, I think, is a more accurate description. Where some people just hated my voice, and others, initially hated it, and then I grew on them. And others just hated it all the way through. I mean, I had some weird emails come through.
Was the backlash, like you described, was it really severe in some cases? Because, again, you did so many episodes of the actual show, and then you did the movies on top of that. I mean, obviously there's that hardcore base of GBZ fans, or anime fans in this matter, that are real purists to the original source material, so obviously it's a big change. But again, was there a huge backlash, like what you said?
There was. One instance was I got this email just out of the blue, and it was this nasty little email from somebody who I think they somehow tracked down an email of mine. I guess got posted somewhere, and I reacted, probably harsher than I should have, but I did. It was a personal attack to me, so I responded in kind. Not brutal, but it was very blunt. And then this kid ended up posting it on his site.
Wow.
a personal email back to me, and a personal email to him. And then I actually got death threats.
Really?
Somebody said, I'm going to find you and I'm going to kill you.
Oh my
so God. I had to report this so-called death threat. Not that I really took it seriously, but you really don't know who's at the other end of these things. And I think they shut down his Hotmail account or whatever it was, but it got kind of ridiculous. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we're actors and we're portraying something. I understand the passion of some people, but it needs to be within reason. And I can agree that I can understand, I should say, if somebody doesn't understand, like a performance or like a voice. But at the end of the day, I think we really got to keep it in perspective.
Now, did you ever get any of that animosity or even any of that love from fans, when you go to conventions and stuff? Because I know a lot of VO actors tend to go to a lot of different conventions, like anime conventions, Comic-Con, or things like that, and, interact with the fans and stuff. What's it like if you have been to any conventions before?
Yeah, and I don't want to say that everybody that heard my Goku didn't like it. I had people that were very complimentary with it. And I'd been at conventions before and signed Goku memorabilia, and I'd be more than willing to do so now. There were a lot of people that enjoyed it, and that's great. I recently did a Stargate convention in Los Angeles, and that was my first Stargate-related convention. And I loved meeting the fans. It was really, it's just awesome meeting people in person, and you look at them eye to eye, and you can see how much the show meant to them. And when they shake their hand and they thank you for your performance, and I'm always taken aback that it's us who should be thanking them. I mean, without people watching the show, the show wouldn't exist at all.
True.
And I think you get some actors that get kind of big-headed sometimes and forget that. And really, it sounds corny, and I'm not trying to suck up to the fans, but it really is about the fans. I mean, if they're not watching and they don't like it, you're not going to be around.
Very true. So let me ask you this, let's move on from Dragon Ball Z. I didn't know, but you were part of Edd, and Eddy, which you voiced Ralph. So tell us a little bit about, doing Edd, and Eddy.
Edd and Eddy, I went in and read for all of the Eds. I tried to get one of the parts of the Eds. I tried everybody. I've tried Johnny. I tried all the male roles, and I didn't get any of them. And then I went to an audition with somebody else who was reading for it well after the fact. It was like weeks later, and I was outside, and I think it was Danny said, "Oh, Peter's out there. We've been having trouble casting this Rolf character because he's supposed to be this foreign kid with a foreign accent, but it's not specific to any region." And he goes, "We've really been having trouble kind of nailing it down." I was like, "Well, as kind of a Hail Mary, I'll give it a shot." So I just went in and it's like, "Well, hello, Ed boys. What are you doing? Here, I'm sitting down the room, Ed boys."
There you go.
And then they loved it. So thus started, Rolf, and the dialogue for him was just so funny. Like I would crack up every time.
Nice.
Picking the hairs off of Nana's mole or whatever he was saying was so funny to me. That it was so fun to do.
Awesome.
And it turned into, I think we did 8 or 9 seasons of Edd, and Eddy.
And a movie too, I believe.
And a movie, yeah.
So that was pretty cool. So right. Going off from that, also you were also involved with Transformers Cybertron, I believe it was. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about doing a voice for a Transformer, because Transformer is such a big IP.
Absolutely, and I believe I was playing. I believe that was Polly.
Polly, yes.
Yeah. That one was exceptionally fun because in that actual role, Polly got to imitate the other actors' characters in the episode. So I actually, had to imitate Scott McNeil doing his character, and other actors doing it, and we're all in the same room together. So it was a big kick for me because these are my pals and these are people I know. and it's almost like, you know, I got to mock them in front of their face and get paid for it. So it was pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Now, that leads on to my next question, you know, because I know a lot of voice actors, you know, that I've talked to in the past have come out and said, like, sometimes they're able to talk to the actors directly, like in the sound recording room, or they have to go off of somebody else's previously recorded stuff. Which one for you personally is a little easier to do, or which one do you prefer to usually do when you're voicing a character?
Sorry, so do you mean, say, prelay as opposed to trying to match somebody's voice? Is that
Yeah, as, you know, opposed to like going off someone's, you know, pre-recorded voice, you know, to like a response to them with your character, or is it better to actually, you know, do your voice with the other actors right there with you?
Yeah, no, it's way better to do it with the other actors in the room. I don't think anything can accurately, you know, copy that sincerity and that believability. I mean, I know it's done. Even I know the big budget movies, like say your Shreks and all that, the actors will come in and nobody else is in the room, so Eddie Murphy will go in and do all his lines, and it's still great. But nothing compares to even just the gratification of being in the room and laughing together, and you know, somebody screws up and you all get a kick out of it, or poking fun at each other during the record. All those things, I think it just adds to the experience. And I'm always disappointed when I have to go in and I'm the only person in the room. I look forward to interacting directly.
Sounds cool. So, you know, we're getting closer to that mark there. You know, let me ask you, you know, having done different shows, you know, and all these different actors and stuff, is there any particular voice actor that you haven't gotten a chance to work with that you would love to work with, or one that you would love to work with again?
Love to work with again. One of the coolest ones, I did a Barbie DVD a number of years ago, and I got to work with Tim Curry. And when we did it, we weren't expecting him to be in the room because we recorded it in Vancouver. And, you know, when we showed up, there he was. And so I was playing his little runty sidekick. And I threw on this kind of mousy English accent. Oh, sire, you're looking particularly regal tonight, sire. And you know, there you are bouncing off of Tim Curry and you know, cracking jokes and hanging out, and you know, he's commenting on what you're doing and you're commenting on what he's doing, and it was an incredible day, or an incredible number of days. And I ended up getting nominated for a Premier Video Award for that performance, which again shocked me, because maybe it's a Canadian thing. You don't think of recognition like that often, and so when you get it, it's pretty special.
And well deserved too, on top of that. So, you know, again, we're getting to that point now. So let me ask you this, or pretty much what's on everybody's mind now. What's next for you, Peter? I mean, what's any other big projects you got over the horizon, or things that you got your sights set on?
Me and a friend have written a feature film, a comedy that we're just redrafting over the holidays. We had some cool response over it, so we're doing some changes to it, and hopefully getting that moving forward. I've also just completed work on a couple other animated shows. Nice. Action Dad is one of the shows where I just did record last week. Cool. Where it's been renewed for a second season. I do a couple of characters on there. 1001 Nights is another show that hasn't hit the air yet, but it will. And it's on my IMDb right now, and it looks like it's going to be picked up for another season, even though it hasn't hit the air yet. So it's been incredibly well received at the conventions and the marketing areas that it's been shown in. So please keep an eye open for that.
We're looking at it on IMDb right now.
Yeah, and it is a great show. It's kind of based on the old 1001 Nights tales. Obviously skewed more for kids, because the original 1001 Nights was a very adult themed story. Yes. So they've changed it, and the cool part about that show is that I play Majid on the show. But when they enter the realm of the stories, the 1001 Nights, the Arabian type stories, Majid will play a different character when they go into the dream state when you see the story itself. So not only do we get to do our own voices, but we oftentimes will do 3 or 4 other voices in the same cartoon. So it's a really, really cool show.
Very cool. So anyway, we're about to wrap this up now. So thanks again, Peter, for being on here. It was a pleasure meeting you and actually chatting it up with you. So if you guys want to check out the rest of Peter's stuff, you can check him out on his website, peterkelamis.com. He has a Facebook. He's on IMDb, as well as a bunch of other spots, And
it's just Peter Kelamis. Twitter name is Peter Kelamis, all one word. So please give me a shout on Twitter.
Sounds awesome. Well, again, thanks very much. It was a pleasure, again, chatting up with you. Again, we had fanboy moments. We had cool moments, all kinds of crazy stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Again, from VFM and from Peter Kelamis. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Stay epic, everybody. Peace out.